Look at us. I feel it's a bit like kind of. I feel like it's like that Paul Rudd. Look at us. Who would have thought? Because last time you was around, we were talking about the first album, and I was very much kind of living in the moment, just thinking about that. And now we're on the second one, and we have to do it on Zoom. But like, hopefully by the third one, we'll be back in the same room.
Oof.
I hope so. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're far away from the third one, so I assume yeah we'll be back in the same room,
Yeah.
unless we're in
Yeah.
lockdown 4 or 5 years from now, and then it'll.
I'll be in space. I'm not doing that.
And on that note, we're going to start the Lame Heart podcast, making their grand return, the first returning musicians, actually. So, not just am I here to talk about music, but have a little bit of a catch up as well, and just a few bit of chats.
Word.
It's Matt and Daffy of Tebi Rex. Faltish.
Oh, Gramaha, Gramaha. Great to be here. As per.
Yes, absolute pleasure as always. As per as well. I've developed a habit of saying as per lately, and I'm really enjoying it.
As per my last email,
I've been mastering per se as well recently, which is a good one too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've,
ooh.
I've been using a lot of re like re
I
my last
love
email,
Reed.
whatever. Yeah.
Have you ever used a good TLDR? Too long didn't read.
Oh, I didn't know that's what that
No,
meant.
what is that? What that means?
Yeah, so like if you have something really verbose to say and you're like, hey guys, can anyone help me with blah 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 blah? At the end I'll put or at the start I'll put TLDR and give like a very brief summary. It's like I need help with this. But I'll give them like more details than that. But like a TLDR is too long didn't read.
Oh,
Wow.
very nice.
Yeah.
But I have actually,
Busy body.
funny that you mentioned that there, Duffy. I have started saying re in the last day or two.
Hmm.
So it's like you're in my mind.
Yo, read's fire, man. That's me, my business bag. It's like read read the discussion on. Yeah, it's cool, man. I hate it though. I hate work emails.
Mm.
For some reason, it's like it's very easy to speak professionally in person,
Mm,
but there's something about email that just gives me the ick.
I totally
Mm.
agree. Do you know what I despise more than anything in an email? I hate kind regards so much with all my
Oh,
heart.
really?
The only time I actually really
I,
say
I'm
it,
a kind regards guy.
I say it when I have to suck up to someone and I really need something off someone, and then I say it out loud in person, like sarcastically as well.
Wait, so are you just a regards guy then? That's quite
I'm a
rude.
Mila Buiches kind of guy.
Okay. I respect that heavily.
Uh and that translates to
Many thanks.
you're
Many
sincere.
thanks.
Oh,
Very,
many
very
thanks.
friendly.
I feel like that's kind of a cheat because it that gives like I think honestly I think that gives flavor to it, but then it's like what's your beef with kind regards then?
It just feels so fake, you know? I don't know, I just got a real sort of dislike for a lot of the kind of fake shit that you see in emails, kind of just like, hope you're keeping well. And you know that by the time the person has pressed that full stop button, they've stopped thinking about how well you are.
This email has not been well.
But actually, one thing I did want to ask real quickly was in our last chat, we did get sidetracked. I mean, we've gotten sidetracked already on this. We're like 4 or 5 minutes in. But we got sidetracked
True,
for the
true.
best part of about 10 minutes because I don't know how it came up, but Daffy, you did ask us if you were to have sex with a college, like the personification of that
Mm.
college, which one would it be? And I wanted to ask, do you two remember what your answers were?
NCAD?
I think I said NCAD as well. But I think Matt was piggybacking off my answer because I don't think Matt's ever gotten with told NCAD. I think you were just trying to make.
I think I picked Maynooth or Galway, and then I think Max made some very good points in favor of
Yeah,
NCAD. And look, I'm an open-minded guy. I'll change my mind if
Mm.
someone makes some good
yeah. You
points.
did both pick NCID.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Well, that was when we were talking about the first album, The Young Will Eat the Old. And actually, it's a shame I forgot to put on my t-shirt today. It's in the wardrobe over there. But hopefully there'll be some new merch for this second album. It's gonna be okay. Which is,
Mm.
well,
So we dropped the merch already.
Oh yeah, we got the little sweater vest things, the
oh
jerseys and that.
yes, you did. How did I forget that? I loved the jerseys.
It's funny as somebody was going on TV and they said, "Oh, we want to get something that says Tebi Rex on it." And it just occurred to me, "Oh, we actually don't have anything that says Tebi Rex
No, we don't. We've never done
on
that.
it." I think we have like the the duck and stuff, but that was like was that from?
Oh wow, that was from that was our very, very, very first line of merch. After the first EP came out, we had like a skeleton and a duck that said Tebi Rex and like a flag
Yeah,
and a jumper. That was
I
it.
like the sound of
but
that.
it's funny.
It was
Yeah,
actually it was very good merch. Yeah.
I'd buy that.
I think it's gas now because there's nothing that like if you see someone wearing Tebi Rex shit, you have to know Tebi Rex and know that's Tebi Rex shit,
Yeah.
which I kind of like. I wanted to be able to exist as just
If you know, you
regular
know.
clothes. Yeah,
Fashion, yeah, I
exactly.
like that, you know?
Yeah, it would be like that. Well, I suppose we'll have to see now. I'm after putting you on the spot about this, but the album was called It's Gonna Be Okay. It's out soon, and I like that you're calling it. I don't know, I feel like I might have gotten it wrong saying album. Are you saying album or story? Because you've used both.
It's both, I guess. It's a story in the format of an album. In some cases, we have structured it, and we've got obviously the first album we went with that kind of play structure of having acts, which was really really nice. As a dramatic man, but now we've gone with like a more of a story vibe with chapters, you know.
And what do you do after that? You done play, you done story. What is the next thing?
Screenplay.
Nice screenplay.
Something that's purposefully rough. I don't know. That's actually interesting because like now that you said it, man, I didn't even notice that. Like obviously, I knew that we were like, oh yeah, this one's a story. Last one was more like a acts in a play, like a dramatic fucking Greek play. And now I'm like, huh, where do we go from here? Any ideas, Rory?
Yeah, we're kind of out of formats. We could do like a sitcom, like seasons or such.
A season. That's
That
kind
could
of
be cool.
interesting.
That could be good. Well, if you need anything when you're doing the one, you have my
Mm,
number, and I'll try to think of something. But I mean, there were four singles leading up to it. There's Oh It Hurts.
Mhm.
There was Hanging with Trees, and I very much remember the day I heard Hanging with Trees because the second I heard it, I paused it before it finished because I had to text Matt straight away to
mm.
tell you how much I love the line. You're in her DMs, but I'm in her Discover Weekly, so we are not the same.
Fair.
I'm fairly sure I screamed.
I love to hear it.
There was Dead Man 2, and I also remember the first time I heard that because I was driving through a very wet and rainy and windy Clare, driving through the burn with my friends Circa, Cormac, and Chloe, and I was like, let's blast this in the car. Loved all the zinger lines. There was then Dead Man, and it was just after Dead Man the last time I saw you both when you were here in DCU, and I was I was glowing the next day. Having a gig back.
It's good, and they really let us run wild in DCU there as well. It was nice, and there was mosh pits to some slow songs, which was funny.
Yeah, I think I said the next day, I was like, I never envisioned I never got off the bus as a mosh song, but like I was humbly proven wrong.
You know, listen, me too. I was happy to see it.
And now we have a bunch of more songs that are due out pretty soon. In a way, I'm not even sure what to say because I've just been sitting with them for a bit and trying to listen to them and try to take down notes, but also try not to overanalyze it because I want to get some of the sus from you two.
Oh, have you heard the album?
Yeah, I've been sitting with it
Ah,
for about a week now.
oh wow, oh
You're on that press
wow,
pack email list. Yeah,
cool.
yeah, you got that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
Thoughts?
everything's coming up, Millhouse.
Thoughts?
He's coming out Millhouse, man. That's nuts.
Thoughts? Well, I'm enjoying it a lot, and I'm not even sure what else to say because I am enjoying it. I have to say, the favorite for me is I Hate Everything, I Love Everything. That's the one that I
Oh,
start
Oh,
my day
very
with.
good.
I do like the chill ones. I do of course love the singles, but I Hate Everything, I Love Everything. I remember hearing it live
mm,
and remember I hadn't heard it yet at that stage, but that was the one I remembered the next day. And it's the one that I listen to probably multiple times a day. I'm not actually sure how many plays it has on like the press list yet, but I can
mm.
guarantee you at least 20 to 30 of those streams are just for me in the last week. And
Oh, fantastic.
Class. Wow. Okay.
it's great to see you with Jake, local boy again.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He did a
man.
cracking job on it too.
Of course, and he produced some of the records on the album as well. So he's great. I thought you would have been a fair last Lamp guy, to be honest.
Yeah, I would shoot.
I was
Uh,
getting there. Yeah, but
Mila Buikas.
we will get onto that. But for right now,
mm.
I just love the guitar in it. It's a great hook and everything like that.
I think it's funny because I feel like I hate everything. I love everything. Is like there are some songs on that, like I think Fair Last, I hate everything, I love everything, which I feel like very classic Tebi Rex. because they're
Mm,
a bit more lighthearted. But I think we have to get through the first half of the album to be able to give any fare like that, you know, because it's funny because it's kind of like almost fighting your natural instincts to be jovial and like funny and lighthearted because you're trying to be it's like trying to be serious on the cutting it with joke every 2 seconds, which is
mm.
definitely a process. But yeah, I think those will be I think people will like those because they're a little bit more fun. It's not everyday misery. There's more than enough rappers giving you misery in this country, you know, like so.
That is true. I kind of found that on my first listen to the mastered album. I obviously a big fan of all the songs in the album, but I had everything out of everything wasn't my favorite. And then as it came up in its place in the album, I was like, this is a really nice turning point, and this is it really adds to it when it's listened to in the full whack of the album. So that's really interesting. It's your favorite though. Good shit.
Yeah, my favorite might change over time. You know yourself as you listen and like sit with an album long term. But after like a solid week of, I'd say, listening to it the whole thing full through a few times, that is the favorite. But back to your point, Max, I did really like Far Less the Lampy, and obviously, Matt, when you introduced it on stage and you said if there's anyone that speaks Gaeilge in the crowd, you'll enjoy this, and my eyebrows raised. I was ready for this. And yeah, it's just great to hear the Gaeilge on it. Nice to see you acknowledging your Gaeilge roots. That makes it sound like you lost it, but you didn't.
No, I think that's actually a very fair comment because it's definitely been something we've discussed for such a long time, and I kind of shied away from using my Irish a lot in music,
Mm,
just for fear of not getting it wrong, but like missing the mark and not doing it justice. I didn't want to just do it for the sake of the gimmick as well. Like I wanted to do it really
mm.
well, which is tough to do because obviously you'll get like we discussed doing it, and then all of a sudden Kneecap popped up on the scene, and I was like, okay, now I really have to do it well. I can't just like pop it in there. So it was funny like that. But yeah, I think thematically and stuff, it was a nice one to pick out. Obviously, if anyone who's heard the title for Last Lampy, it's in reference to the Junior Sir poem about the Glimmer Man. So it tied in really, really well with the story.
Yeah. And I like how you were saying with I hate everything, I love everything. It's a good kind of pick up before I hate everything, I love everything in terms of like the
Mm,
album going ahead. And one that I initially didn't immediately recognize after seeing some of these unreleased songs live. A
mm,
Tree in the Woods. I was sat there
mm,
thinking, did I hear this just live, or is this just one of the like old Tebi bops or something like
mm.
that? But what I can't get over is the sudden change,
Mm,
like halfway through.
absolutely, yeah,
How
yeah.
how we're strolling, but then we're dancing. But I suppose dancing is still illegal in this country. We don't know yet
Yeah,
when it
man.
when we'll be allowed. But where did that come
Mm.
from? It was like a sucker punch of the most glorious form.
Yeah, I think Max
Yeah,
went for that one. Yeah, you love a good bit, love a good bop, Max.
I love
Mm.
a good bop, and I think we made that one initially. The whole song was like that drop. It was like very up there the whole time, and we said no, that felt kind of almost cheap, because we wanted it to feel really like 3 a.m. electric picnic, and that's what we were going for, and that was like the kind of vibe we're trying. It's like we wanted to be kind of drunken epiphany, so it's funny. I think that song of the album is probably like the most hyped and the most dancey, but also I think it says, I think it perfectly kind of encapsulates what me and Matt are trying to say. Those verses, I think, it's like if anything, it's a thesis statement of the whole thing, or rather maybe the conclusion of the whole thing. But also, it's a fucking bop, and we wanted it to be both those things. So I think that's why the first half is like a little bit more slow, somber, and measured. It's still like upbeat enough, but it's like not up there. And then it kind of just cuts loose at the end. I think it's cool. I think you need songs like that, and also we're very much a live focused act. So every album needs its Robin season, I would say. And yeah, I suppose that's it.
Yeah, I like how you described it as a drunken epiphany because that kind of is exactly how I was describing it before you started talking. Because I started listening to it and I was a bit confused by it. I was like, have I heard this or have I not? Or is this just something I saw in a teaser? But turns out I was just bopping to it. May have had drink or two, but I won't
Yeah, of
confirm anything while we're
You know,
recording.
there's
course,
no
of course.
judgment here, no shame here.
No
No
self niche.
judgment, no shame, just unprofessionalism, as always, as
Listen,
per.
if you want to talk about professionalism, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Live for
Well, we may have time for that soon.
it.
One thing I wanted to ask though, like, where did the idea to like call the songs chapters from? Is that because you thought of story initially as a form, or did you think, oh, let's just call them let's call them chapters, and then we'll make a story out of this? Or
No, I think we were so focused on story from the jump. You wanted to really kind of get a little bit more conceptual. And the last album was like it kind of was conceptual in that sense as well, but we wanted to really like tell a narrative. So what's so important and like what's key to this album is that when you listen to it on Spotify, there's going to be a unique kind of canvas video image for each song. And that along with the song is going to tell you an entire story. Like it's going to be Eddie's entire narrative from start to finish. And yeah, I think we wanted to have like an arc. We really wanted to have an arc and feel like more so than just talking about feelings and what's going on with us, but kind of telling a kind of emotional journey. Like when we first discussed it, because we were pulling from like what's it like? I think there's one called A Monster Calls. We were pulling from fucking poetry. We were pulling from all this kind of shit, and we were like, let's make a modern, a kind of modern fairy tale. Was the idea, I guess, initially at the start.
I'm almost speechless because I'm just like I don't. It's so well described. I'm nearly running out of questions. I'm almost like I'm not doing my job very well, I
No, you're
suppose.
good.
Like we spent ages sitting down. Like I think that's the thing where it's like I spend so much time talking about this with Matt and trying to like give shape to the idea in my head that I've gotten really like
Mm.
good at kind of explaining what we were trying to do and trying to get across. And I think especially with music and when you're not like massively huge, like I think if you're like a Kanye or a Drake, you got the luxury of people picking apart every movement, every word, every idea, every da 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 da. I think when you're a much smaller artist, you need to paint it boldly. Even like I think the opening narrative and the opening talking bit at the end, I wanted to be a bit more vague about what was going on, but I said, look, you just have to paint bold sometimes and really hammer a point home so that people know what you're doing for the duration of the thing. There's still little elements I'm like, look, I'm gonna leave that hidden as like a Easter egg for anyone who figures out. But yeah, I'm just trying to be as clear and direct as possible.
Oh God, I'd love people to dissected stuff more. That'd be amazing. I feel like even like in the last album could have been dissected more and stuff. That I wonder if like there's some things that landed with people or not. But you don't find out as well. Like you're not. It's not like we have
Mm.
Vice picking us apart or Dissect picking us apart. We're just not there. So maybe there's someone at home and they're gapping Sligo being like, "Oh, nice reference." That's crazy. That Gilmore Girls reference. Uh,
Mm.
yeah.
I think all the dissection happens on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think Twitter is responsible for a lot of our musical success. So I hope it's responsible for the
Yeah.
dissection as well.
It's definitely a good place to get like a quick response. Be like, were you referring to this in this song? And you can get a yes or a no.
Yeah, pretty much. God, Twitter's such a funny bubble. I love it. It was actually so funny today. I mentioned Richard Chambers' name to my girlfriend today, and she's like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "How do you
What?
know who Richard Chambers is?" And she just doesn't use Twitter. And I'm like, "That's insane."
Yeah.
That
Oh man.
is
What?
that's so alien to me. I suppose that's just like a blissful ignorance.
Isn't it right? Sometimes you meet people like that who just don't really know, and that's fine, and it's great, and they're happier. And it's better off.
I mean, in defense, I've never seen Richard Chambers on TV, even though I know he goes on TV. So it's the majority of people what know him from
Mm.
online. So if you're not on Twitter, I never really see him on Instagram. So yeah, that does make sense. It's
Mm.
like, and what's absolutely happening is he's consuming his information and his content on Instagram, anyways. But it's just they what they do is on Instagram they just take out his name and like post screen grabs and say, "Go, here's
Yeah.
information," and it's just from Twitter. It's just from other social media sites.
It's
But
bad.
I don't
It's a
know.
bit like that. I went to the Pilot Festival in Kilmainham back in July, and I was put in a pod with like Virgin Media, who also are in charge of Richard Chambers. and I was with Rob O'Hanrahan. And as soon as he said his name to me, I was like, I know this from somewhere. I'm not sure where, but it
Hmm.
rings a bell. Turns out it's like him, Gavin Riley, Zara King, I want to say, and Richard Chambers are like the four from
Yeah,
Virgin Media that we get all of our like COVID news from.
that's so funny. That's kind of like a. It's nice though that he still didn't. He's not like his face isn't widely known. His tweets are. That's great.
Yeah.
People accosting him in the street, being like, "Explain what the government says."
Oh, yeah. But I get that too sometimes. Some people will like just because I'm under the age of, I don't know, 20 under 23 and have a TikTok account, people name all these people to me in conversation that are apparently like big on TikTok and everyone knows, and I get the most like shocked faces when I just don't know them just because I don't look at dancing videos.
Okay. Well, yeah, as an Irish user on TikTok, what does your
Hmm.
feed look like? Is there a lot of Irish speaking content out there aside from the Gaeltacht?
I don't know. I think when we started when we started on Wild Talked, only I think only really Block TG Cahir were the only organization or page that
Hmm.
seemed to like like with a notable amount of an audience that was putting
Hmm.
Irish language stuff out, but like they've pumped a lot of money into their TikTok in the last year and a bit. And then my own personal
Cool.
feed, I mostly do radio stuff or general music industry stuff. So my feed is a lot of that. And then I also try to get a lot of like graphic design, video editing, audio editing, little tutorials because there's so many great TikTokers who'll give you quick tips for how to use software like Photoshop and Premiere Pro and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But but I don't know. There's still not a huge amount of Goelga stuff on TikTok.
Okay, I wondered that. Yeah, I wondered this because it seems to be slowly popping off a lot better than it was at the start. So it's cool. I wonder was it like more of a community coming around that?
No one else really springs to mind, but I don't. I think on TikTok it's probably harder to form a sort of whole community sense because like it seems like there's more of a community on things like Twitter.
Yeah.
Like there just seems to be it seems to have more of its own kind of bit of structure around it, so there's actually a bit of a bubble to it, and it's not bubble as in it's hard to enter or whatever, but
Hmm.
it's just kind of there.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas on TikTok there's so much interaction with strangers and like people that you see once and that's it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Which is the best thing about that app. No one stays hot forever.
That's like one great thing about TikTok. It's great for like bringing you to a new audience, new people, all that. It does such a shite job of showing it to people who actually follow your page and actually are interested in seeing
Yeah.
what you have to do.
I don't know. You gotta keep it fresh.
That's kind of like Instagram, where you can never like. If I search up Matt's name, he goes show me some fella in the states. So I'm like, I don't give a fuck about who is this that you're showing me. Like that's not. It's so odd that way. Like Instagram isn't localized, and it does show you who's biggest, and not necessarily who you're very obviously looking for. And like, oh, I have to dip in like a minute, but this is another gripe as well, where I will go on Messenger and I will type Max. I still use Messenger because Messenger to me is the best
It's great.
app for communicating because you get to keep it on top of everything else. You don't even need to really go on it. But I would go on Messenger and I would type Matt, and it's just Matts I went to school with or like Matts and whatever are coming up. I'm like, no, clearly it's a Matt I message every
That's so
day.
cool.
Like, what the fuck is going on? I'm not going to message someone I haven't spoken to in 6, 8 years, maybe ever. It's clearly, the one I speak to. All the
No, that's annoying as fuck. Yeah, I don't have that issue with you because I mean you're the only Daffy I know, so it's grand. Nice.
Yeah, man. It's bummy. Listen, boys, stay blessed. I
Your
have to
business.
go. I cannot wait to listen to this. Speak nicely about me. Thank you so much for having me on, Rory.
Pleasure as
God
always.
bless. Bye.
And the wiki.
Bye.
Now it's a date. Yeah,
What is it? Is it two's a date, three's a crowd, or what's the two's a
two's company. Here's a crowd.
two's company class? Yeah, no, I kind of agree with him on that messenger front, but I've done a huge cutback in terms of like social media for the in the last few weeks. Like I removed a load of my own followers on Instagram and
Oh,
Twitter and stuff like that because I was like, I haven't seen you in a few years, and it's not that I've anything majorly private, but I'm like, you don't need to know about my life. I'm just like, I haven't spoken to you in 4 years. I don't need to know that you had lunch in this place with this person at this time.
it's a good way to think about it. Yeah.
There's no hard feelings, and I got rid of a load of notifications, so I'm slowly letting people know that like if you ever need me urgently, you have to call me or email me, and that's the only way you're gonna reach me.
Call me, beat me, gonna reach me. Yeah, if honestly, if it wasn't for music and no social media success being so like my own personal success being so dependent on social media success, I think I would do massive breaks in social media. I think because I'm someone who has loved social media since it's kind of started, and in the last year or two, I've been like, oh, this is a sad place to spend my time. I wouldn't even want
Yeah.
this. Especially Facebook. Facebook should be gone, in my opinion. I think that thing is crazy. The fact that we can post for even like a blind boy who has like what a couple 100,000 followers on Facebook, when he posts anything from his Facebook page, it gets like 10 likes or 20 likes.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is
Yeah.
bizarre. Like you have to put money behind everything, and I'm just fed up a little bit.
Yeah. No, I agree with you because I sort of have the same predicament, not at the same level, obviously, because I'm not selling out shows, but a lot of me trying to make any success is based on social media. It's based on getting it out there to tell people that you can listen to this podcast, or it can be like, hi, I do radio bits, hire me for this, or I've designed this thing, buy it. Oh, my Christmas cards for 2021 arrived today and they are gorgeous. So I'm really happy about that.
Oh, you're doing. I love that. Do you always do Christmas cards? Do we send them out like that?
I did them for the first time last year,
Mhm.
like to sell, and they did pretty well. So I've got a I've got a new design this year, but then I decided to make limited edition retro ones in 70s and 80s designs.
Very nice.
Yeah. So
Oh,
that,
can't say.
yeah, we've gone from talk about the album to me just plugging my little Etsy shop.
You always plug, plug, plug. As we were saying, our success is totally defined by social media success. So go to his Etsy and buy that shit.
Can you put that line on the next album?
Oh, absolutely. You can put that on the back of the card. Go to Etsy and buy that shit.
I'll make a poster with reviews.
Fantastic.
It's a bit like, was it you or was it? I feel like it might have been you, but I feel there was someone who made like a promotional graphic for something they were doing, and they put a load of, or was it Finch
Finch did that,
who
yeah,
made
yeah.
the graphic with all the like the random reviews, and they were like top bloke.
It's gone now, actually. I've changed it, but our Spotify bio was just filled with fake reviews from people we made up for a while. Like we just got fed up for a bio, and we put Miggledy Higgins in there, and my mom was in there, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Like,
I loved it when you did the reviews when White Boy of the Month came out, and you were like, anyone who does this on TikTok will give it a review, like a movie style review.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, trying to get people to do shit with your song on TikTok as a small artist is impossible. I think the only success we ever had was I've been scammed for it before as well, which is terrible. I'll come back to that. But um once the most successful way to do it, I was like, anyone who uses this song and gets 50,000 views will get €50. Anyone who gets 100,000 views gets another €50. And some guy posted it, got it 100,000 views in like 10 minutes a day, maybe. He's
What?
like he's like a Twitch FIFA streamer or something like that. It didn't actually do much for the success of the song at all, but I gave the guy 100 quid anyway.
Because I did make TikToks with the sounds.
Oh, it's
Um,
fantastic. It was art.
Thank you. I'm trying to remember. I did one about a spice bag to Oh It Hurts, like something had happened really, really bad.
I feel like Max is going to hear this podcast and be like, these guys did not talk music at all after I left.
Well, see, that's what I really enjoyed about the last one. We just went on so many tangents.
We did. Remember, like the clip you used was us talking about like knife play during sex and stuff.
Yes.
So, yeah, we won't digress.
A lot of people have asked me about that, and they've asked me, how did you get up to that point? What was the context of it? What happened after it? And my answer was very simple: go stream the podcast, and you will know.
Go stream the podcast. I certainly can't tell that story. I was not in the room.
No,
We don't do everything together, me and Max. It's just music.
no, but if you go listen to the other one, I can't remember what episode number it was, but it's from 2 years ago, and you'll get a nice, very
A good detail.
interesting story about certain kinks that certain people have.
You know, and we love to see it. We love to see people being open with their kinks.
Yeah, we do.
Where are we going with this?
I don't know anymore.
Okay,
Lo-
let's get this train back on the track.
Back on the track. Choo choo. I love Lost Time. It's a very chill vibe, but it is more somber.
Last time was definitely a good track. We can fucking. Oh, oh. So last time was about pegging. We we take a drink.
Oh,
No,
we're
sorry.
here because we're here is about swinging.
I don't want to make kink puns about all my albums because it'll ruin it for me.
Oh my god, we have to do that at some point though. Maybe
Oh,
not on this.
maybe not now, maybe not here like this. But yeah, no, good tracks. Good tracks. Certainly a lot of puns you made in there. Did you recognize any of the production on Lost Time from older Tebi Rex stuff? Did it sound a bit older to you?
Oh yeah, it did it because
Those twinkly keys belong to the hands of Chris Cabs.
oh, what a guy.
Yeah, he hopped in for a song on the album. Yeah, he did that one.
It's really nice. And I wanted to ask, is it like was it intentional or not? Because at the very, very end of the song, it almost sounds like you're gonna say it's gonna be okay. But it cuts off just at it's gonna be. And I was there waiting for an okay, but it never came. Because
It
obviously
never
I'd
came.
heard Dead Man before already. So, I know that it ends with it's not gonna be okay. So I thought that this was a little bit of resolution before we get to, I suppose, a little bit more resolution in Dead Man 2 in a way, but it doesn't come.
It doesn't happen, no. And that was an in the moment decision. Because we were recording that and that song was meant to have a feature and have another artist at the end of it. And with time constraints and COVID, and they were very busy as well, it ended up not happening. So we just worked around it. We're like, that's fine, no worries. We went to record it. And then we fleshed it out ourselves. And we kind of had like a forward and back kind of piece between myself and Max in the song, which I actually really, really enjoy. It's the first time we really had like a forward and back that like a call and response type of thing. So that was really fun.
Mm.
And then we are kind of like, all right, just do some like vocal freestyle kind of stuff and just see how it comes out, see how it sounds. And that's what I went with. And then we decided we're like, yeah, don't even say it. Don't even finish it. We don't need to finish it. We haven't resolved yet. The album's not over. You gotta hold that back. And it came out real nice.
It definitely did, and I'm wondering how it's gonna like sound live because obviously you have your Opium Rooms
Mm.
gig on the 20th of November. Obviously, I've had my ticket for ages. I've put an unholy amount of peer pressure on some other people to get tickets. Some people it has worked, some people not yet, but there's no such thing as failure.
Listen, we gotta do it. If anyone listening, 15-year-old booking fee, that's what it is. We got, it's gonna be an interesting one to do live. We've played with it. We haven't done it live with the people yet. We did like just a couple of rehearsals and then practice run of it, and it's very stripped back, and it's one of those funny ones where it will it work live with crowds or not, and it's just kind of time will tell. I think it'll definitely work for like headline shows and stuff because people are really invested. But like, will we take it to festivals? Maybe not. I don't know. Then again, Lotus Eaters works really well, and that's more of a stripped back song as well. So it's just figuring it out. Plus, I do love doing those vocal runs at the end. So you never know. You never know.
Because as Max was saying earlier, like a big being a very live focused act, I probably more so than certain other artists I listen to, I am always imagining what's this going to be like live whenever I listen to one of your songs for the
Mm.
first time. And that's obviously what I was thinking of when I heard I Hate Everything, I Love Everything, because I suppose I heard it first live before I heard it like the studio
Yeah.
version. But I was thinking about that, and obviously with Fire Last the Lampy, and as I was saying, as a bilingual podcast, it's great to get, the bit of Gael into there. But I don't know, it could be a nice little kind of almost palate cleanser.
You
You know,
need that.
if things are
And
getting a little bit too sweaty, a little bit too raucous you could.
Turrock, Rirog, Rulabulya. No, I think it's it's such a benefit to have both. Because we like I don't know what it is about Tebi Rex, but we get booked for a really wide variation of gigs, and that's probably just down to like the wide variation of genres we dip into. But like, there's some sets we get booked for, and it's very intimate, and we have to do like a more intimate set, and we can calm it down and cool it down, which is fantastic. And then sometimes we're at a very heavy rap set where we just pretty much just rap our asses out for like 35 minutes 40 minutes, so it's good to have the balance of both. I mean, we started off doing like poetry and acoustic sets just to get gigs, so it's nice that we kind of have a mix of absolutely everything.
Now, do you bring stuff like Robin season and all that to the very intimate or stripped back shows? Because I know that like when name dropping playing in La BBC just did.
Mm-hmm.
I never got off the bus. Lotus Eaters, Dominic Fike, Brockhampton, but that was all very chill
Mm.
because it was kind of on radio and there's not really a crowd to feed off of and bounce off of.
Yeah, it depends. I think if the mood is subdued, then we don't do the heavier hitting ones. But even if it's like, there's been times we've been played in places that had really small crowds. Like I remember one time we were playing in Derry, and we were playing in, oh, I'd love to remember the name of the place, but I can't. It's like a basement salon, a really really cool salon that had like a real nice kind of consignment store. These really really cool dudes selling like fashion and stuff out of the salon as well. But it was a very very poorly attended gig, so there wasn't many people there. So we probably should have done something more light and done something more subdued and stripped back because like it was so spacey in there. No, no, we did all the heavy ones, just because like it just kind of fit the vibe of the place better, we thought. And sometimes we just kind of we make the set list and we run with it as well. I think we don't make last minute changes. We'll make the set list very last minute, but once it's in, we'll just do it, and we'll just go with it. We don't mess around too much with it.
I suppose some songs are a bit more adaptable than others. Like, I suppose I can kind of maybe see something like Robin Season a bit more acoustic, but say She Hated Love Songs too. I could definitely see that in an acoustic setting and with a new arrangement, which I think is probably the only Tebi bop I love that I've never seen live in all of my
Yeah,
Tebi sets.
heavy sets. Yeah.
I was actually trying to think through after I saw you a week or two ago. I was trying to think through all the times I've seen his live. I think it's been a couple of times, but I think it's the only one that I haven't heard. But there's some that would work better acoustic, I suppose.
Yeah, and like I think She Had Love Songs too would be such a good song acoustically as well. But yeah, I think it just aged and we just stopped doing it, to be honest. I can't remember the last. I know the last time we did it. We definitely did it at EP. Because I remember we had Elkin up with us for it, and that was really cool. But I don't remember doing it much after that because I have to like sing Elkin's bits as well. This is the funny thing about when we have feature artists as well. It's such a funny thing to figure out live because you're like, oh, do we just play the track? Do I like for I never got off the bus? I've been singing that song at every gig for like the last 2.5 years, and I've been singing Jake's verse every single time, and to the point where I forget that it's not my verse. Like, sometimes I'd be singing my soul out like I wrote that, but I didn't. Shout out Local Boy. But yeah, we'll have to do that now for all the new stuff as well because we have 3 feature verses on the new album.
I'll get there.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Some of them are harder to sing than others. Shout out Roe and Rebecca Locke.
Oh, shout out to them. Great verses.
Great verses. Even actually, a Local Boy's verse is very hard to sing because he's in a really high register for that. For that whole verse, he screamed his soul out on that verse. So I kind of just bopped
Yeah,
it live. Yeah.
that's definitely something people are gonna hear when when they listen to it. He had something to let go of that day, I think.
He did, and wait till when people hear the lyrics of it as well. The lyrics are so, um, I don't know. There's some lines that feel like so not juvenile, but like they're very sweet and honest and bare. They're not like too in the depths of like his Shakespeare writing. It's like one of the lines like I hate the way my hair won't stay in place all day and it gets in my eyes, but he's screaming it through his chest. So it's hilarious.
Well, I suppose it's about the emotion then.
It's all about the performance, man.
And yeah, so there's loads of this on the album. I wish I could sum it up like in one sentence, but I don't think I can. There's just there's so many different feelings going on, so many different things to dive into.
I would call it in 3 words, probably heavy but hopeful. Was how I would describe the album. I think,
Nice.
yeah, I think it. We were discussing it a while ago, and like the last album we had, um, may have like sounded brighter in places and that kind of stuff. Or like, it definitely, I think that this new album has like a load of like rock influences and punk influences, but make it sound a bit grungier. But I think it's a much more hopeful album than the first one. I think it has a nice arc that way. But yeah, so I would say heavy but hopeful. Put that on a bottle of milk and sell it.
Well, I suppose that in terms of the titles, The Young Will Eat the Old sounds, I suppose, rebellious in a way,
Hmm.
but it's gonna be okay. It's kind of like having, a big teddy bear beside you
Yeah, it's funny that so
to kind of comfort you.
yeah, the title of that, I love how because Max coined the title for that, and he explained it to me as like it's obviously something you say when you mean it, when like something is going to be okay, and you say it to if a child falls and bangs their knees, you're going to say it's going to be okay because it is. You'd also say it if you're on a plane crashing to the person beside you, and it's not going to be okay, but you still say it because it's comforting. So, that's why we went with the title of that. It's kind of has a weird dichotomy to it, that phrase.
Yeah, well, I like that ambiguity. On that note, I'm gonna leave that open-ended question there, and obviously say Mila Buichas for joining us back here, despite whatever we were talking about that I will find out in post. But obviously, the album "It's Gonna Be Okay" is coming soon. It's gonna be out very, very soon, and shows on the 20th of November. Mila Buichas, Matt. Mila Buichas
Mila
to
Buick
Max
Steve.
too. I know you're gone now, but I make it sound like he died.
No, he's fine. I can confirm Max is well and truly alive. But yeah, thank you so much for having us on again. And Rory, Silan Gavek me Hurist.
August Duhane, I'll see you very soon.
Goodbye.